The human reproduction process, pregnancy, and proper care. This video talks about the human reproduction process, pregnancy, and proper care. Underneath the skin and bones, the human body contains a complex and involved system that carries out all of its various functions. This system includes organs such as the heart, lungs, and liver, as well as other body systems such as the circulatory system. Beyond these basic functions, this system also includes a reproductive system that is responsible for producing sperm cells and ovum. As we go through our lives, we gradually accumulate more and more knowledge about our bodies and its systems. The reproductive process is one of those we should know about in order to fully understand how we function on a daily basis. The first thing that you should know about this process is that it generally begins at puberty when hormones begin to circulate throughout your body. Around this time, you also experience other changes such as increased hair growth on your body. A human being starts their life in the womb. A woman's eggs are fertilized by a man's sperm. The fertilized egg, called a zygote, travels down the fallopian tubes to the uterus where it attaches itself to the lining of the womb, uterus. The embryo begins to grow and divide into cells. When 10 weeks old, it has developed fingers and toes and is called a fetus. At this point, it goes through further development, parts of its brain form, fingernails grow, eyes develop, lungs function, arms and legs can move. The human reproduction process is complex but fascinating. There are many aspects of pregnancy that deserve our attention when looking at proper care during these stages for an expectant mother or father-to-be. There are many things that you need to know about the human reproduction process. It is not always an easy thing to understand. This article will be a guide to understanding what pregnancy is, as well as how you can take care of your body before and after pregnancy. In this article, we will cover the human reproduction process, pregnancy and proper care. What is pregnancy? Prenatal care. The 4 stages of pregnancy: the first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, and labor and delivery. The human reproduction process. The human reproductive process is the physiological and biological process by which an organism parental couple create a new individual. Of pregnancy. Pregnancy is the period that starts with fertilization and ends with birth. Proper care. Proper care of the pregnant woman includes frequent prenatal visits, antenatal monitoring, antenatal education, breastfeeding promotion, and safe delivery practices. An introduction to this section could be as follows: a lot can happen to a woman's body and health during pregnancy and childbirth. This topic will provide an overview of the human reproduction process, pregnancy, and proper care. This section covers the following topics: the process of how a woman becomes pregnant, the process of pregnancy and prenatal care, miscarriage, ectopic pregnancy, and fetal reduction, induced labor, induction, and C-section, postpartum care, breastfeeding. Introduction. The human reproduction process is an important topic because it covers one of the most fundamental aspects in life. This article will cover topics including how a woman becomes pregnant, prenatal care during pregnancy, miscarriage, ectopic pregnancy, induced labor, C-section delivery. There are many things that can go wrong with a pregnancy and the human reproduction process. It is important to know how to take care of yourself and the baby during pregnancy so that you can have a healthy pregnancy. The human reproduction process is one of the most complex processes in the world. There are many hormones and processes that come into play in order for conception and pregnancy to happen and go smoothly. It starts with menstruation, where there is a shedding of the uterine lining. Usually, this takes place every 28 days or so, but this can vary from woman to woman. About 2 weeks after your last period, or menstrual cycle, your ovary releases one egg, ovum, which travels through your fallopian tube towards your uterus. Pregnancy is the time when a woman's body goes through many changes. A woman's body can undergo dramatic changes to make room for the developing baby. And some of these changes are caused by hormones that are released during pregnancy. Many pregnant women experience some symptoms, such as nausea, heartburn, or constipation. These symptoms are often preventable with little effort on the pregnant woman's part. Maintaining good health throughout pregnancy also helps to boost a pregnant woman's energy levels and reduce stress levels. Introduction. The human reproduction process is what causes life on Earth to continue on generation after generation since time immemorial. It consists of 3 major stages: fertilization, implantation, and developmental stages, each contributing. The human reproduction process is a complex state of being, which can sometimes take years to understand. There are many different factors that come into play when it comes to reproduction, and this article will focus on the proper care of pregnancy. The human reproduction process is something that has been occurring since the beginning of time. It takes two individuals, or parents, to ensure that there are children in the world. This video will focus on one specific aspect of this process, pregnancy and proper care. Many women who become pregnant think they know what to expect once they become pregnant, but there are many aspects of pregnancy and childbirth which can be overlooked or forgotten about during a child's first pregnancy. The first step is understanding what constitutes a healthy pregnancy and how a woman's body changes throughout each trimester. The human reproduction process, pregnancy and proper care. The human reproduction process is a series of steps that take place within the female anatomy to allow for fertilization and successful pregnancies. If we break down the process into its various stages, we will be able to see how each step is vital. Stage 1, ovulation. The egg cell or oocyte is released from one of two ovaries at the time of ovulation. A few days before ovulation, levels of luteinizing hormone, LH, in the blood increase significantly, causing an increase in estrogen level that triggers ovulation. Once LH reaches its peak, it causes a surge in progesterone, which then triggers ovulation. The woman may experience abdominal cramps as the muscles contract to release. The human reproduction process. The fertilization of an egg by a sperm creates a zygote, which then divides into cells. A baby is born when the zygote has divided into enough cells to form a human being. A woman's body undergoes approximately 28 days of pregnancy in order to prepare for the development of the baby. This process can be divided into three stages: implantation, embryonic development, and fetal development. Pregnancy is defined as carrying or expecting a child or offspring in one's uterus from the time of conception to birth. It is also known as gestation period due to the 9 months it takes for a baby to develop inside his or her mother's womb. In the human reproduction process, a fetus will form after a female egg is fertilized by a male sperm. The egg travels from the ovaries to the uterus and fallopian tubes, while the womb continues to expand in order to accommodate the growing fetus. The placenta produces hormones and nutrients for the baby through a connection with its mother's bloodstream. The uterus is made up of 3 layers: an outer muscular layer, an inner muscular layer, and an endometrium. The endometrium develops periodically during pregnancy to offer a hospitable environment for the implanted embryo. It consists of glands that produce secretions that help nourish and protect it. One of the most important things to remember about the reproductive process is to always seek advice from a doctor before trying to conceive. This advice also includes the use of assisted reproductive technology, such as in vitro fertilization, which can increase your chances of getting pregnant after pregnancy. It's important to have proper prenatal care. This includes regular doctor visits for checkups and ultrasounds. It's also important to take all necessary medications and adhere to diet guidelines set by your physician. Conclusion: the human reproduction process can be complicated, so it's best for you and your future baby if you get all the information you need before starting down this path. Unsafe. The human reproduction process is the process by which a human being is conceived and develops as a person. The human reproduction process starts with the development of gametes, the female ova and male sperm. This then proceeds to fertilization, or conception. This is when the man's sperm fertilizes the woman's ovum and creates a single cell called a zygote. The zygote will then divide into 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, and so on, eventually forming an embryo after 12 days. Within around 25 days, if all has gone well up to this point, there should be enough tissue for it to receive its own heartbeat, fetus, and become viable for birth, termed quickening. After an additional 6 weeks, it will be fully developed and ready. It is important to know that pregnancy can be a very difficult process. The human reproduction process, pregnancy, and proper care are all related. The human reproduction process is the way it takes for an egg to go from the ovary to become fertilized by sperm. It starts with menstruation or periods. After this, it goes through ovulation, where the female releases eggs from the ovaries through the fallopian tubes into the uterus. A woman will have 4 periods per year, one every 28 days on average. Pregnancy. The first stages of pregnancy are called implantation, which happens when your fertilized egg attaches to the wall of your uterus and develops into a baby. During this time, you may have some mild cramping or spotting, but most women do not feel anything. Pregnancy is a beautiful experience for any woman. It is filled with happiness, excitement, and anticipation. However, this can be a stressful time for any woman contemplating their pregnancy. This section will provide an overview of the human reproduction process and pregnancy, as well as properly caring for oneself during this time. The human reproduction process involves fertilization of the egg by sperm with subsequent implantation of the fertilized egg in the uterine wall. During pregnancy, it is important to take care of oneself so that they can have a healthy baby or babies later on in life. This video is only for educational use. Please consult your doctor for any medical and professional advice. Feel free to let us know in the comments. Before you go, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to inform you when we produce another video. Thank you for watching Better Body Tips and for your continued support.